I was knocked down. My knee was, I thought it was sprained, but I had my arm in a sling, so I knew I had to get back to the mass meeting, because what you do at a critical time, perhaps at sometimes basic thing to a whole movement. Mm-hmm. And so the doctor said to me, he said, "It's amazing that your head is cracked open." He said, "You ought to have at least a small crack. I thought you'd have a big one." I said, "Well, doctor," and first of all he apologized. I said, "We don't need to apologize. This is what God intends to happen. So you and I serve our generation by doing what we must do." He said, "Well, I'm so sorry." He said, "But I don't see why your head isn't cracked." I said, "Well, doctor, the Lord knew I lived in a hard town, so he gave me a hard skull." I always had the answer. My mind was thinking ahead, you see. So then I knew I had to go. I said, "Now, I'll tell you what, doctor," and I knew he was going to want me to stay in the hospital, which if I had done, we wouldn't have a marvelous clothes like this. So, and this was back in the movement, not 63. I said, "Now, doctor," he said, "I need to observe you." I guess you stay and see how you're going to do, you know. I said, "Now, doctor, I understand both of us have our job to do." I said, "I have a job to do like you do." But he said, "I need to observe you." And I said, "Well, doctor, now I must tell you, what that book says sometimes, it will be giving you what to say in that same hour." I had to say a thing that he couldn't do. I said, "Now, doctor, the only way I would stay here is you will have to have 2 policemen inside where I am in the room and 2 on the outside." I know he couldn't do all that. My main thing is to get to the mad folks that night, because folks are mad because I've been beaten up. I know that. So I go on. I said, "Now, doctor, if I die at home, I die among my friends." I said, "Well, over here I can't control the circumstances of my death if I had to die, so I'd rather go home if you don't mind." He said, "Well, I can't." He said, "Okay, go. But come, call me if you need." The only thing that happened to me was that slight bits of blood was in my urine one time that same day. That's all. Never was. So I go home, and that gray suit that I had on had a big hole knocked in my knee. I'd fallen several times, you know. And so I just went all relaxed. I wasn't hurt that bad. I was glad that I was able to go back home. And so I'm laying there thinking about how I'm going to talk to mad folk that night. And this church got a balcony all around the top. You know, I knew Hope, plentiful. But before I got to the church, there were people as thick on the outside as they are these tables. Layers of folk on the outside. And I said, now, so I had to figure out how I was going to get their attention. Well, they were already mad because they were mad because the white folks had beat me up. And I said to myself, we got to get it over. And I didn't even pray over it. I already knew what I had to say. So when I came up to the other side, boy, they were saying some stuff too. You thought it was a football game or something like that. And so they said, they were saying some terrible words. I don't need to say them. And I knew I had to get their attention and keep them there. I said, "I tell you what now, I've got to go in and talk to the people inside." I said, "But I'll talk to you when I come back out." And so they quieted down. And I went on to church. So normally I sit behind the pulpit, but this time the pulpit was about how full as this, so I took a chair. I had somebody sit a chair out there. And I had my arm in a sling, and my suit had about 4 or 5 holes in it, my knee and all, and I had this arm in a sling. I said, "Well, you'll probably, if I don't take the usual seat." I couldn't appear to be mad, no. I said, "I had a little problem today. You can see that, can't you?" Somebody said, "Hell yeah." So the women were mad worse than the men inside the church. And I said, "Well, now," I said, "some mad folks in here tonight, ain't it?" "Hell yeah." I said, "Well, now, That's strange. I said, everybody who's mad, stand up. And everybody stood up. Women stood up. I said, well, okay. I said, well, okay. Sit down. Everybody who got beat up today, you stand up. Nobody got. I said, you mean tell me all y'all mad folks in here, ain't nobody got beat up today? I said, I'll tell you what, I got beat up there. In fact, I got hell beat out of me today. I said, but you know what? This is what we promised. I said, this is how we're going to serve God. We love the city. The city's going to be better. We got to be better. I said, the book tells us that if you suffer with Christ, you shall also what? Reign with him. I said, so I'm not angry. I said, no, I'm not angry at all. And I'm the only one in here got beaten up, and you don't have any right to be. Because you're the movement, you're going to help change the city. And I said, so I regret I can't stay with you now. I need to go back and relax a little bit. No, I said, I even use one of my old favorites, but I said I must go back and take a little unrelaxation, like kingfish. I said, you probably, if I go home, Congress, yeah. I said, now how many folk mad now before I go? Nobody stand up now. I said, I'll tell you what now, I have one other thing to say, because this is our test as to whether or not our system will work. Number one, when we close the night, everybody's going home the shortest way. Don't want to walk through the white neighborhoods. You might be tempted to bust out a window or something. I said, but to be sure you know that I mean what I say, and you tell them on the outside that everybody go straight home, quick as you can, and if anybody sees anybody else throw a rock or bust a window or this and that, once you get the name and bring it to me so I can get out of my sick bed tomorrow and go down and swear out a warrant, because we ain't having that in Birmingham. And that's how we control nonviolence. I never had to talk about it seriously again. So when you're on the spot, in other words, when you're at bat, you strike, take your bat. And I think most of us in the moral and principle issues of life, if you can't take your turn at the bat and do your best, because it'll be done for you if it's directed. That's all I should say. Now, thank you very much. I think I talked too much.